we're going to be doing some trend predictions for the 2023 downhill season. Some of this is based on what I've seen so far in the previous year. Some of these are just some informed guesses. First thing that I think we're going to see more of is some tech sliding. Now, I know the South Americans have been holding it down in the tech slide game over the hiatus of the last 10 years everywhere else in the world, but I think it's going to make a return this year, especially with the introduction of the 93A Dragon skins from Powell. I know that me personally, watching footage of people skating those makes me want to get some. Doing some tech-ish skating as well, talking blunt slides, 360s, 720, all kinds of variations, a lot of creative trick kind of slides. Just watch a few of Jesse Fabrizio's recent things and you'll probably want to as well. I think we're going to also see a return of the switch slide. Now, we all have love for the skinny board freeride that is kind of the big popular way to skate recently. The only issue with this is there's basically one way to skate it, and that is to skate straight into the corner, slide the corner the way you should, nail the line, etc. There's kind of a right and wrong way to do it. It's very black and white. Now, with switch, you can create a lot of different creative variations, doing 180s, doing 360s into corners, doing 180s in the straights, and then sliding switch into a corner. Lots of different ways to make it happen. It's very surprising and can be very entertaining to watch. So I think we're going to start to see a little bit more switch skating back in the game. In the Northern Hemisphere, it's going to start getting warmer in the next couple of months, and with that, return of shorts when it comes to skating. Now, shorts are always a big risk, seeing as they're not covering as much of you as possible, and because of that, a little riskier. However, you can't deny that breeze. Now, the compromise here can be seen in the street skating scene of the last couple of years, and more specifically with Scott Mano rocking the extra baggy jorts. Now, you can do a lot here with the jorts. You can do with more standard cut, or you can go pretty wild with that absolutely huge polar baggy style jorts. I think we're going to see the return of the jort in downhill skating this year. Now, don't worry, Europeans, I haven't forgot about you guys. We're still going to have European skinny jean dominance out there. No worries, we haven't forgot. You guys keep that skinny jean game up. In the past few years, we've seen a little bit of a drop in the medium length skate video. We're still occasionally getting a pretty solid full length video, but with the rise of Reels, TikTok style short videos, we've kind of seen a drop in the content from the medium length 3 to 6 minute video. And I think we might see a bit of a comeback in that area. There's been a lot of footage coming out using GoPro poles, and I think more and more people are going to start to pick up on that and start filming themselves with the GoPro poles. During COVID, we saw a pretty good rise in the popularity of downhill skating, but we're still struggling with the events. Before COVID, we had a very solid core group of skaters that were very committed and pretty advanced, very much able and willing to race. This is not a very beginner-friendly style event, and because of that, I think we're going to start to see, finally, the rise of the slide jam. Now, you might be thinking, well, I mean, what about the free ride, right? The free ride. That's what everybody wants. However, the free ride is just, one, way harder to set up. It's way less grassroots because it's just a huge amount of work that goes into it to block off a huge road like that. And not to mention, slide jams aren't really even trying to attract a, worldwide group of skaters. They're very local, they're very roots, and they're pretty low entry level. You basically have to be able to do one slide in basically any direction in order to participate in a slide jam of any type. Basically, you just got to be able to slide to a stop. So I think it is time. I think we're going to see the slide jam make a bit of a return this year. If you spend any time on social media, you're going to see the Australian Ugly board. This is a board oftentimes that has been chopped into a very, very small shape, typically done in a very aggressive way to result in a not often very good looking shape. We're going to see about 50 different foot stops, every different type of way to connect yourself with the board, and even more recently some pretty ugly looking trucks as well. What the hell? Now, I think Australia has completely adopted the style of creating ugly setups for almost the sake of it, but I think we're going to see that stretch into other areas of the world too. I see the ugly board trend kind of the same way that we see the brick board trend. The brick shape was a very extreme shape. Not necessarily was it super functional, almost a, pushback against heavily shaped boards, just going with the straight up brick. Over the last few years, we've seen a few more Groms jump back into the scene since we had a bit of a lull in our Groms. And with that, I think we're going to start to see the rise of boxing gloves showing back up at events, complete with very few actual knockouts and a lot of people just getting quite tired. The last take I have is possibly the hottest take and possibly the least founded take that I have, and that is the return of canola oil dominance in the kitchen. Olive oil has had a very long, good reign with the oils in the kitchen, but it's almost gotten too fancy, and we got to really bring it back to basics. We don't need to have 50 different types of olive oil. Olive oil is just a little too fancy for us now. We need to bring back the canola oil.